to Meanwhile at the Castle podcast episode 2. It's exciting that there is a 2. After last week's, I just had so much fun with it that I was excited to do it again. And I wanted to do it every week. It's been almost 2 weeks, but life gets busy. So just thank you to those handful of people who've watched the first one and encouraged me to do it again. And welcome to anyone new, which would be just about everybody. So my name is Deborah, and actually I'm Queen Deborah, and I'm really excited to visit with you again. So welcome, come in, sit down, and stay a while. So this week, there's been a lot of things that have happened since my last podcast. Let's see, I went to the Great Basin Fiber Arts Fair, and I went there with my sister, Queen Emily. It was so much fun, and sadly, I didn't get any pictures. Emily got one picture of me, so if I can get that from her, maybe I'll throw that in. But it was a lot of fun. I've never been to a fiber arts fair, and I didn't know what to expect, but I was just really looking forward to it. I went wanting to find a handful of things, and I found them, so I'm going to show you that a little bit later. That was in South Jordan, Utah, at the Equestrian Center, and that was just really fun. So probably one reason I didn't podcast in the last week is because I actually just went on a podcasting binge, watching a million, and it's hard to do your own if you're watching everyone else's endlessly, and it was a lot of fun. I found a lot of new to me podcasts that I'm sure are not new to anybody else, but I'll just share on the bottom of the screen a few of them that I watched that I really enjoyed. And let's see, so this week, actually yesterday, my oldest daughter turned 16. That was a lot of fun. We went shopping for clothes and got her driver's license, and so we are all happy with her newfound freedom, because it means freedom for me as well. I spend so much time in the car driving everybody to every activity and ballet classes, and I practically live in the car, which is the only way I can get any projects done, is sitting and waiting for a lot of the things that we're doing. So I'm really happy to be home. I'm always singing to myself Michael Bublé's song Home because I just want to be home. And so I'm really happy. Actually, right now my 3 girls are all at the movies. My oldest, she took them to a movie, and I didn't need to go, so it's really fun. Let's see, right now my husband, he is actually outside working on my new sewing studio. I'm really looking forward to that, and I'm sure all of my girls are as well, because right now where I'm recording is actually in their ballet studio, which has been taken up by one of my children as their bedroom temporarily until we can get my studio sewing room outside. My husband has sacrificed so graciously a large percentage of his wonderful, amazing, huge garage for me to have a studio out there. So he's doing the sheetrock and taping and mudding, what he hates doing more than just about anything, because he's so sweet. So when that gets closer along, I can share some pictures with you. Let's see, this week I've been working on preparations for Mastering Knighthood Summit. My sister Emily is going to be joining us on our podcast, hopefully the next one, but she just hasn't been able to this week because she is so busy with Mastering Knighthood Summit preparations. That's what she spends her entire summer doing, and I've already done my summit preparations for Crowned with Virtue Summit back in the spring, and so it's been a nice break for me, but I do a lot helping her with that. So at the end of this podcast, I'll share some pictures. I'll do a little slideshow for you so you can see some of the things that she and I both have done in our events in the past, and that will be really fun. And this week I also had it with my hair, and so this is one of my projects that I did. I cut my hair. I love short hair, and every time I cut my hair I go a little shorter and a little shorter, because once you have short hair it's just never short enough. But I love having my hair short again. I had been growing it out for the last, I don't know, 9-10 months, and a month ago I just had enough and I cut it all off, and so it's been fun now having it short again. So this week I've worked on quite a few projects. The summer is coming to an end, and so that means that I will not have as many opportunities to do some of the just fun things that I like to do. It just gets so busy, but I've had lots of opportunities to do a lot of things. So last time I showed you a bunny that I had started from, the pattern was Little Bobbin's Knit. No, that's the wrong one. Now I have to find my pattern. Oh. I'll put it on the show, what it is. Anyways, but I made a little bunny, and this one is actually supposed to be, the pattern was a little boy bunny, but after making one that was a boy, I wanted a girl. So this one, she's just really sweet. I made her a little bow and a pink nose, and I love the tail. And this yarn is so soft. It's Cascade Echo Duo vanilla colorway, and it is so soft because of all the alpaca, baby alpaca fiber that it's made of, and I love it. It's much thicker than the pattern calls for, and you know, it's not a sock weight yarn, but I think that's how I prefer it. I really like it because the stitches stay closed nice and tight around the face, because in some of the other ones that I've seen, especially the ones that my sisters made, the stitches spread out too much when you stuff it. And so I didn't want that. I wanted it to stay closed nice and tight so I could get a nice firm stuffing to it, because I like them to hold up, you know. I don't want it to be so floppy that it feels like it's going to fall apart. But I really like this one. And she doesn't have any clothes right now because I couldn't decide if I wanted to knit, what kind of clothes I wanted to knit for her. And then I decided I didn't want to knit anything at all, actually. I'm going to sew her a little dress. So I've got this lovely print, and I'm going to make her a little tiny dress. But my 12-year-old daughter, she's been learning how to tat lace, and so she gave me a little swatch today of some lace that she thought that I might like if she made some for all of the projects that I make. And I said, well, that will be perfect with what I'm making. Here, I have to show you up against here so you can see the pattern of it that she was doing. She's a novice, but she does such a good job, and this will be so pretty on the bodice of a dress for the bunny. I mean, that will look so nice together. So that's something that I'm working on. So when she finishes making me some lace for the bodice, then I can make her dress. So that's really fun. All right, let's see. This is a very, very simple but much needed project that I just made. I made an oversized sleeping mask. I've had different sleeping masks and I wear them out, but we have a stoplight on the corner just right by our house. When we moved into our house 16 years ago, you know, we were in a couple of houses, or one house from the street, from a main busy road, but it wasn't really that big of a deal. We were in far enough that it didn't bother us at all. It really wasn't noisy. It didn't bother me at all. But in the 16 years that we've lived here, they've torn out all of the houses next to us, so we are now on the busy road, and they put in a light just, I don't know, a month ago, a stoplight, and so it's a lot noisier, but along with that stoplight, they put in extremely bright overhead lights, and it shines directly into my bedroom window, right into my eyes, and I can't sleep at night. So I wear a sleeping mask almost every night. So I needed one that was bigger, and it's really simple, but I really liked this one. My middle daughter, who made the lace, when she was really little, she wanted to make a sleeping mask for some reason. I don't know. She got obsessed with the need for a sleeping mask, even though it's completely dark where she sleeps. And so I just, gave her some scraps of fabric, and she designed her own. And instead of making a traditional shape like you would expect that you see everywhere, she made an oval that covered her nose. But because it covered her nose and she wanted to breathe, she just cut out a little hole for her nose. So she had this really funny mask with the hole cut out, and she was so proud of herself. And I just kind of tried not to laugh. Yeah, good job, good job. Now I see the wisdom in her design. On this design here, I'm gonna hold it up, there's always light that comes in here, and I kept thinking, if I could just get it to close in here so that it blocked out more of the light, that would work. And then I remembered her ingenious design, so I may have to do that. Anyways, this elastic that I put on here is really this buttery soft elastic. I have to show you because this came from my oldest daughter's point shoes. My girls all do ballet, and she didn't like these elastics so much that came with her ribbons that she sews onto her point shoes, and so we got some other ones after she used these for a week, and I saved them because they're so soft and have such a nice stretch to them that when I wear this, I don't even feel it. I don't even notice it anymore. But it's nice having girls that do ballet, because then I can snag some of their supplies that they don't use. Actually, my daughters this year, they dance for a school called On Point School of Ballet, and they do a beautiful full production ballet every year for their recital, I guess you could call it. But this year, my oldest daughter was cast in the lead role of Cinderella, so I'm really, really excited, and I'm just so pleased with how beautiful and graceful my daughters are. I'm going to put some pictures up here of my girls dancing. Actually, they're not dancing. These are photos that one of my friend Tamara Hyde from Modern Expressions Photography took. She is such a talented photographer, and she's so creative with the way that she photographs everything. I just love that she has these, what does she call it, sessions, magic moments sessions, I think, where you can be a fairy if you want, and she will add fairy wings and magic sparkles around and all sorts of fun things. She has one child that looks like they're tiny riding on the back of a rooster. I mean, she's just so fun the way that she designs all of her images. But she did a photo shoot with my girls, I think it was a year, it might even have been 2 years ago now, the pictures that I'll share. Anyways, I'm just loving how graceful my daughters are. I'm not sure where they got it from because I have a hard time walking and chewing gum at the same time. I took a dance class with my daughter, actually my oldest. She was kind of my personal assistant in this adult ballet class because I just needed so much help. And it didn't last so long. I was not extremely talented in that area. So let's see, oh, I dyed some yarn. I told you that I've really been excited to dye yarn, and I got my acid dyes. Oh, this is the wrong bag. I got my acid dyes in the mail, and so I immediately had to try it out. So I had one experiment that did not go at all as planned. And I think that happens, but instead it was a happy little accident. Ended up being what I've dubbed Mermaid Lagoon. It's hard to see, actually, the sun is washing it out. But it has so many variations in color. I was not going for that, but it ended up being so pretty that I just had to try doing something with it. So I'm learning. I decided I needed to teach myself to knit a different way. I've always been a thrower. When I knit, you pick up the yarn, wrap it around the needle, you know, you let go of the needle every time. And I actually can knit quite quickly with that, but with all of the pain that I have in my hand, I thought the less motions, the better. The fewer motions, the easier it would be on my hands. So I thought I'm going to spend some time learning to knit a different way. I need to learn to flick instead of to throw. I worked on continental knitting, and I don't know if I love that or not, but I was doing a variation of that where instead of holding the yarn in your left hand like you do with continental knitting, it's still done in your right hand. You just don't let go of the needle. You just flick the yarn around it instead of letting go of the needle, wrapping it around. And so here's my test swatch that I was working on when I was learning. Be kind people. But this is with my Mermaid Lagoon yarn that I was testing out. So I did some garter stitch, and up here I've done some ribbing, 2x2 ribbing. And it's okay, it doesn't feel so awkward when I do it. I'm not very, I just started. I'm not very proficient at it, so it's definitely not really fast yet, but we'll see how that goes. But I really liked on this yarn, what's so fun is that there's just so many variations. I don't know if we can see. I love how it goes from this teal blue into a grayish, a purple, an indigo, some lime green, we've got peach. I don't know, it was just so much fun, all the variations in this one, that I need to do something fun with it. I'm not sure, because it's just it's a mini skein of worsted weight yarn. I just was sampling as I experimented, and I'm just knitting them on my super cheap needles because they're the only needles I have that are straight like this, that aren't on a cable, they're not DPNs, and I really wanted to practice on one like this to learn a new style. I need to go get the other yarn that I dyed. That one it turned out more how I wanted. Okay, so here's the other mini skein that I did. I just divided up one skein into 3, and I dyed 2 of them. And so color's not quite the same, but here we go. That looks a little bit better, a little bit. I love how it's got some deeper tones and little bits of peachy colors, oranges. It just turned out really pretty. I wanted it to be a lot paler. I really didn't know how much I needed to add. It's looking a lot more pink there, but it still is a really pretty color. So when I do this the next time, because this is what Emily wanted, just a lot lighter. So I can keep the same color, just use a lot less of the dye. So I was really happy about this one. This will make a really pretty doll sweater. I'm really happy about that one. And so I promptly ordered several different skeins of sock yarns. I ordered a sock blank, a double-stranded sock blank, so I could do some more experimentation. I'm really going to be excited when that shows up. So let's see. Oh, and where did that go? With the other yarn that I showed you that I dyed last week, this really pretty rainbow effect yarn. I knitted a tiny little sweater. Well, it's not quite finished yet. It needs the armbands done. Tiny little sweater for my little chickadee Waldorf dolls that I showed you, that I make the little tiny ones. But I really liked how this turned out. So this sweater pattern was a free one on Ravelry. Let's see if you can see. It's a honey bun. I needed it a little larger, so I knit it on larger needles, also because I thought that that would work better for the worsted weight yarn. And let's see, it was 4mm circular needles that it called for, and I went up one size. And it turned out just as I needed. So I think I'm going to try making a little polymer clay button that has a rainbow on it to go with this sweater. I think that will be really cute. And I needed some needles to finish this because I haven't knit for years. So I had a very small supply of knitting needles. So I went and got, here it is. I went and got my second set of carbons. I'm really so excited to knit with these. This is in US size 5, it's 3.75mm carbons, and I love these needles. Emily introduced me to these because I had been knitting on just super cheap needles, and I didn't know that there was anything better. I was so ignorant and in my knowledge of knitting needles, of knitting supplies, that when she introduced me to carbons, I went and got my first pair, or my first set of DPNs, and my world has changed. So I love these so much. And a lot of people say that they drag a lot, but I haven't been knitting a lot. I haven't noticed that so much with what I've worked on. So I'll finish this sweater today, just the binding on the edges, and then I'll try and make a little button. All right, let's see, I made this week as well something fun. I have to take some of these things out. I made myself a project bag. I really like this one. It has a little zippered pouch that is detachable, and it holds my darning needle and little pair of scissors, and also something else I made to match the bag. Some little stitch markers. I'm going to take them out. There's red, white, and blue, or red, clear, and blue. I've got 2 of each of those. And then I've got these 2. I really like these. This one just looks kind of like, I don't know, fish eyes? I don't know. But I thought those were really fun. So those match my project bag, and I thought I'll just keep a set of stitch markers that matches my project bag with every project bag. So I'll never be without any. And then inside of my bag, I've got, to match it as well, some needle keepers. Now I didn't add the snaps yet because I need to just go put those on. But these will hold the DPNs, and it matches the bag, so everything was a coordinating set. I was really having fun with that. So there was one that I made, and the other one that I made showed you some of my hexies that I had cut out earlier, and I wasn't sure what I was going to do with it. And I did sew them on my machine and made a big project bag. I mean, this will hold a sweater. This will be nice. I like this one. It will hold a sweater, or it will hold my dolls. So this was a lot of fun. I quilted the hexies, and it really worked well to sew it on my machine. I really liked using the template that marked the seams, and inside it's got a little pocket on the side, and in here I've put a new project that I really want to start. It's the Muriel Paisley caplet. Is it caplet or capelet? I don't know. My I can't remember which daughter, but one of them, she had a little caplet, is what I always called it, this little fur one, and she always asked to wear her craplet to church on Sunday. It was so funny. Anyways, so I wanted to make this one. I just ordered this book, and I love quite a few of the projects in here, so I'm gonna start simple. So my husband, who's so sweet, he is a deal finder. I mean, he is the king of that. I mean, we call him King Rock. That Rock is his middle name, really it is. And so he is King Rock, but he's the king of deals. So he was at a store called NPS that is in Salt Lake. And there's two NPS stores. One is called NPS Market Square, and the other one is just NPS. It's an industrial one. And he finds a lot of materials he needs for his business, his signage business there. And so he goes there regularly, but they often have some really unusual things. So when he went there recently, they just had a display of yarns. And he knew that I was excited about yarn. And so he sent me a picture of all of these different yarns and asked what ones I wanted. And of course I wanted this beautiful red alpaca. It's, here it is, Inca alpaca. It's just 100% baby alpaca. It is 109 yards, 50 grams. It's definitely a worsted weight. And he bought me just enough to make this caplet. But I've got to show you this price. It is so soft. I mean, that's a steal. So he bought me that one, and he bought me a few other ones that I'm not sure what I'm going to do with some of the other ones yet. But this one, I'm going to make the caplet. And because I needed some tools to make them, I bought, of course, another set of carbons, interchangeables. I got a 24-inch cable, so I'm really excited to start this one. I don't know how much time I'll have, but we'll give it a go. So, oh, in my little bag, let me show you. Did I put a charm on that one? No, I'll have to see. This one, I have a little teapot charm and a little jewel on it. Where's the jewel? If I can show it. No. There. Anyways, it's really cute. So I have so many charms and so many beads that I want to make into stitch markers. It's going to be a problem, I have a feeling, an obsession. All right, but with that, I still had more hexies, so I made some more. So this is, yeah, that's what I've got made so far, and I have enough to make a little bit more. So I'm thinking I might make another project bag and put it on my shop. We'll see. We'll see. I think I want to do that, but it's going to be a little bit different. It's not going to be as big. It will be a smaller one, more like a sock bag. let's see. Okay, so I told you that last time I got some new materials and wool to make more Waldorf dolls. And so here's this beautiful buttery soft double knit fabric that is, I'll have to put the name on here, I can't remember the brand, but it is so nice to work with for making these dolls. And so I began another one, and I told you that before you finish the doll heads, they look kind of creepy. I'll show you a little bit what I mean. Actually, that doesn't look bad in there. It just looks like it has a beard. That one doesn't look so bad. Well, I often think they look creepy, but from the side, you gotta see the profile. It has a cute upturned nose, chin. If I didn't add this needle felting to it, it really just, it's kind of just like this forehead here. There's not a lot of shaping to it. And I put the nose, and you can still do a nose, but it ends up being just this little bump because you still cover it with another layer of the gauze and another layer, and then the skin fabric. But it looks kind of funny like this, but I learned that I need to make it more exaggerated than what I'm wanting, because by the time I add the next two layers, it really softens that. But I'm gonna try and cover this a little bit to give you an idea. I mean, it's not gonna be really that great of an idea, but of the shaping, because it'll have another layer that smooths and softens it all down. So you've got this, and then you go in here and you add eyes here and the little mouth here and then the hair, and it ends up being really, really cute. Not as creepy as you'd think. It's just kind of a fun, I don't know, it just morphs from this crazy ball of wool and weird knots and strings that you've tied all over into just an adorable doll. And then I ordered some long dark brown straight hair to make a wig cap and to put on this doll. So I'm hoping that this one ends up the size to display my doll clothes that I make and sell for when I photograph. I'm hoping it ends up that size, but the last one ended up about 2 inches too small, and I am making this just a tad bit larger. So we'll see. Either way, they're beautiful, beautiful dolls. I just love them so much. Such nice quality. I wish I had learned to make these many years ago. So I've got the head ready to cover, and I've got the limbs ready to stuff, and then I can finish the body. So that'll be fun to show you when that comes along. It's just fun to see how they develop into just a unique character. It's really fun. All right, let's see what else. Oh, so that's what I worked on this week, but I wanted to show you what I found at the Fiber Arts Fair. Well, I found a lot, but I held back. What I wanted to find was some fiber, or I wanted to find some yarn for dyeing, and I wanted to find some fiber to try spinning, and I wanted to try to find some yarn for socks. I haven't done socks before. I thought I should give that a try. Okay, we have to pause for a minute. My husband just came in, and he needed some lunch, and he had to tell me first before he went back out that I looked on fleek. He said I was so on fleek. I'm really proud of him for remembering that term, because I recently learned what it meant from my teenage daughter, so I thought that was funny. Anyways, so things that I wanted to get, I found. So I'm gonna show you, first of all, here we go. this was actually not on my list, because of course we always buy things that are not on our list. From healingheartdesigns.com, I'm going to show you the bag. I really liked this vendor because a portion of all of their proceeds goes to education for organ donation, and I definitely am on board with that. And they had lots of really beautiful things there. They had sari yarns that were, you know, fibers that were strips of old saris that were made into skeins. What else? They had banana fiber. I've never seen or heard of that, and it was so soft. It really felt like silk. It was so beautiful, but it was really bulky, and I mean, I couldn't envision myself using it. I'm sure I could have found a reason to use it, but I had other things to buy, because they also had saris there. Oh, look how beautiful. This is so beautiful. I mean, it's 6 yards of silk that just so lovely. It's this plum and silver design. I really love this. So in my Crowned with Virtue club that I mentor, we're learning about Mother Teresa. And during that, you know, when we're learning about her, I thought that we might teach the women how to wrap and wear a sari. First, I have to learn how to do it myself. But just as I mentioned earlier, my friend Tamara Hyde with Modern Expression Photography, she adopted a girl from India many years ago. Hi, Ronnie. And she had several different saris for her daughter and for herself that she purchased there when she did that and learned how to wrap it. Maybe she remembers and could teach me. We'll see. But that's the beauty of the age of information. You just get on YouTube and you can learn anything. If you just want to sit there for a minute and watch, you can learn anything. So I thought that I could wear this and teach the girls there about how to wrap and wear one. And then after that, I don't know, I had a different plan for my new studio, for the colors and everything, but after seeing this might be it. I'm not sure. So I got that. And let's see, I have to look and see all the things I bought. I love the crinkly sounds of bags because it usually means that there's something fun. From Corn Creek Fiber, I bought this, and I bought this. They are so pretty and so soft. It is 70% superwash merino, 30% silk. There's 438 yards in each one, 100 grams. These are single ply fingering weight, which I have to tell you, I mean, I know that means it's going to be a little harder to knit with and not everything will work well with it, but I really have no idea what to make with these. No idea. I could definitely use your suggestions. But it was so beautiful, and I bought it because they were a steal. $10 each. $10. Now, back before I learned about the world of glorious yarns and fibers, I mean real yarns and fibers, I would have choked on $10 a skein. Now I see it and I'm like, buy it all. So it's so pretty and so soft that I really want to. These are not colors that I would typically really wear, so it would be something that I would make and give, but I want to make something with them so bad. So I need suggestions. What can I make with it? But they were lovely. Corn Creek Fiber. Beautiful. Then another thing that I bought, what I'm really excited about. Well, first I have to remind you about my experimentation with washing and picking and carding my own wool. And this is what I ended up with. I mean, it really, it was a mess. It was a mess. That's all I can say. And it just was not a great fiber for carding, especially for a beginner, a novice like myself. And so I wanted to go through the entire process from the raw wool through, you know, cleaning it and picking it and carding it and spinning it and dyeing it and knitting it into something. But I got stopped right here. So I bought some fiber that was cleaned, but needs to be, it was washed, but needs to be picked and carded. And so I just was kind of like, I'm just going to continue on in that process where I left off and pretend that this is what I started with. So this is some alpaca fiber that is just really soft. I mean, I just keep saying how much I love alpaca, but I really do. But it's a little bit, it's got a lot of VM in it. You know, a lot of seeds and little bits that it takes some time to pick and clean when I pull this apart. And sure, it would be really great if I had, you know, one of the really nice pickers, but I don't, because I've never done it before, really. So I just did some by hand, but along with that, I couldn't help myself because I found this alpaca fiber. Not alpaca, I already said alpaca. Angora. It is just like a cloud. I could just crawl in and live in this. It is so lovely. I have to tell you, when I was little, my mother would help me go to sleep by telling me this story about mud. I mean, I know this sounds odd, but it was kind of just a relaxation technique where you imagine that you're laying in this warm, squishy pile of mud, and she went through this process helping me relax. But when my kids needed help relaxing, I thought, I'm going to change it from mud into a cloud. And I imagined this. When you feel it, it's like I'm not even touching anything. I mean, I know it's there, but I can barely feel it. It is so lovely and soft. And so I had to buy it, and I kept thinking of when I talked to my girls about a cloud and the relaxation technique we would use. And when I opened it up and showed it to my youngest daughter, she immediately went, Mom, it's like a cloud, just like you talked about. So it was funny that we made the same connection. But this one is from Misty Newport. Let me show you what it is. And let's see. What's interesting enough is actually that the two fibers are from different ladies. I honestly don't know. One's Misty Newport and one is Danielle Pace. So one of them, the alpaca, came from one, and the angora came from another. These are the cards that I've got. It's a little bit blurry. Is it going to focus on that? Anyways, so if I want to buy more, I'll contact one and find out which one is which. I'm not sure. So I was dying to get started on that, and I really couldn't wait to get started after doing a podcast. So I got started before. So I have these lovely vintage hand carders from my aunt. I mean, lovely because I love vintage. I don't know how great they are because they're quite worn, but you know, for myself, a novice, it worked really well. Oh, here's some of the fibers that I picked. The alpaca kind of came with them. It stuck with it when I pulled it up, but it feels almost the same as the angora once it's been picked and cleaned. So I carded some of the two fibers together, blended them together, and while I was at the festival, or the fair, I also bought a drop spindle. And this is a just beginner drop spindle, and Let's see. This one is from greensleevespindles.com. This is their bare bones maple drop spindle, and it was really fun. Now, I watched several different YouTube videos, you know, lots of different people doing it, so that I could watch and see how, you know, different people do it and try it. Also, after I watched some of the videos, I tried it out. I thought, well, that doesn't look really too complicated. The process that I saw was that, you know, you attach it to a leader. I actually ended up doing one where you don't attach it to a leader, you kind of make your own and just start from the fibers that you have, and I liked that. I didn't want to attach it to a leader. Anyways, you do that, you spin, you know, you pinch, you spin, pinch, draft it up, and then let go of where you had pinched, and the twist would travel up what you drafted to where your second pinch was, and then you just kind of do that again. You pinch it, spin it, draft it, and then let go. And when you were not spinning it, so you spin it, you park it between your knees so that it stays still. And so I did that. Sorry, this one is kind of a mess. I wanted to undo this because it was just so thick. I couldn't draft it very well. I want to take that part off. The rest of it, I did pretty good. Anyways, so I did that, and it was really fun. I did it for about, I don't know, 45 minutes. I had made 4 or 5 rollags with the hand carders that I was spinning with, and I did it till I was down to the last one. And I had lots of fun, but when I was done, my hands were killing me. They were so sore. So I had to wait for about 4 days before I could do almost anything else with my hands. And I thought, that's not good. But what was worse is my hips now out of place from the parking the spindle between my knees and holding that pressure in. My hips out of place, and I need to go to the chiropractor to have it adjusted. And so I've just been in a lot of pain with my hands and knees. So I don't know how this project's going to happen, how it's going to work. I've watched some other videos, but it takes a lot more practice, and I don't know that I can practice that much. Where you don't need to park it, you know, but it's a smaller, lighter weight spindle, and they're doing a finer thread. I don't know. For those of you that are experienced, if any direction you have to help me finish this would be really nice, because what I really wanted to do once I finished this was dye it and knit it into something so I could have finished the whole process. So I could have completed that whole process. So I'm stuck right here until I can figure out what to do so that I don't kill both my hands and my hips. But it's fun. I'll have to show you again up close. I mean, this is my very first time ever doing this, so I felt like I did pretty good with the consistency. It's definitely a hand spun, which has a charm of its own, so I like that a lot. And it's so soft. Oh, I love how soft it is. But I have a lot more to do to make. Oh, I've got fibers blowing everywhere now. I really want to use it. So that's what I got at the Fiber Festival, except for one more thing. Okay, I found it. It's my little baby llama alpaca. I know it's supposed to be an alpaca, but I think it also somewhat looks like a llama. I don't know. We actually looked up, my girls and I, what's the difference between a llama and alpaca? And for a stuffed toy, it's really hard to tell. I'm not sure. But since it was at the Fiber Arts Festival, I'm quite sure it's an alpaca. But he needs a name. I think this is a little boy. He needs a name, and I need some help naming him. He's so adorable. I had to buy him. He's gonna sit on my shelf above my my sewing machine so he can just sit there and watch me sew all day and work. So anyways, he's so adorable. I had to resist buying all of them, but I guess one's enough. So I need name ideas. My daughter said it should be Alma because we couldn't decide if it was an alpaca or a llama, but that's a really boring name. So that's what I got at the Fiber Arts Festival. Emily, what did Emily get? She got some yarn, but I really can't remember what she got. She really strained herself. She was very good. I did too. I felt pretty good about that. Okay. Oh, while we were out, we went to lunch. We went to Wingers. I was really excited to go to Wingers because I have to be on a wheat-free diet, and so there's always a limited number of gluten-free options when we're out. And I recently saw online that they had some gluten-free options. And so when we were traveling, our family, we were headed down to St. George to visit some family near St. George. There was a Wingers and we needed to stop and eat. And I saw that. We have to try it. Something different. I haven't been there for years. And so I got their bear wings that they then dipped in their amazing sauce. And I got some garlic fries their fries were fried in a different fryer, and it was so delicious. And the wings were really crispy. They'd fried them extra long, which was nice, so that they were crispy, and it was just really good. And I didn't feel sick afterwards, so that was really, really nice and exciting. So ever since then, I've been craving Wingers like crazy. And so when we were out, I told Emily when we wanted to eat, can we go to Wingers, please? So we went to Wingers, and I got the same thing. I was really excited, and I took a bite of one of the wings, and it was like, I don't know, eating raw fat off of the chicken. It was like it had barely been cooked. It was disgusting, and I thought, well, it must be that one. Tried another one, and that one was just as bad. And I really hate to make a fuss when we go out to eat. You already have to draw attention to yourself when you ask for gluten-free, any specialty diets, it can be a pain. And so I really didn't want to say anything, but I was like, I just can't even eat it. And I was so excited to. So I asked if they would just fry them again, just longer, so they would be crispy. So the manager comes over and wants to know what's wrong, and he was kind of being passive aggressive about it, kind of being all my fault or something. I don't know how. I didn't cook it, but it's like, we did it the length of time we always do it. And I'm like, that's nice. That's good, but could you just do it a little longer, please? So we waited and waited and waited and waited and waited, and Emily had finished her food and started knitting her sweater. And anyways, when I was about ready to say, never mind, let's just go, he brings them out. And he puts it down in front of me, and he says, and then he stands there, he folds his arms and watches me. So you're gonna watch me eat my food? That's probably one of my biggest, I don't know, not phobias, but having anybody watch me eat makes me crazy. So it's like, yeah, I gotta make sure we did them right. So I'm like, great, wings of all things, the messiest thing. So I took a bite. I'm like, perfect, thanks. And then he walks off, and I spat it out. It was just as bad as before. So I won't be getting wings from Wingers again. Didn't get sick, but I was sick because it tasted gross. So anyways, that was a really long side story. While we were out, we went to Wingers, and right next to Wingers was a fabric shop, and it's just called The Fabric Shop. And they had, they always have really cute fabrics, and I wanted something to match the hexies that I had cut out so I could finish making my bag. But while I was there, I bought a stack of other fabrics. I was good. I limited myself to 5. So, first one, both Emily and I loved. These little unicorns with gold on them. I mean, how adorable is that? It's just so cute. I mean, I picked all these pastel-y things. I don't typically pick pastel-y things, but I was in a pastel day. Oh, here. Pastel mood that day. See, I mean, Everything I bought was pastel-y. Just like this one. This one's really pretty, bird cage. Bird cages and roses. And this one was adorable. Oh, there we go. I just bought half a yard of each because I thought what I would make, well, just 1 minute, let me show you the last two, because these two I bought to go together. How adorable. Little bunnies with golden crowns and flower wreaths. I thought I would just make project bags till the end of time. I'm so excited. I have a handful of bag designs that I want to make that I've been thinking about. I'm making one actually. Oh, I have to tell you, I have to stop. It's along the same lines. But this week, actually yesterday, I think, or the day before, I went into a local yarn shop to get some of the needles that I needed. And I'd only been there once before. It's Sittin' Pretty. Sittin', you have to say Sittin' Pretty. On, what is that? Is that South Jordan? West Jordan? I can't remember. And I've only been there once before. I went with Emily. We do everything, not everything together, but a lot. And when I was in there, I had taken in one of my Waldorf dolls because I wanted to make something to match one of her outfits, I think. And everybody was so excited to see the dolls, and when I walked in there, it was just like home. You know, everybody was best friends. Didn't matter who you were, they'd never seen you before, you're best friends. And that's what I like about small town shops. Fabric shops, bookstores, and yarn shops. They're all like that. It's just everybody's your best friend. So I had been there, you know, for like 10, 15 minutes one time with Emily, and they know Emily really well. And her son, they know really well. And it had been a while since I had been there, so I went in there yesterday or the day before with my daughter, and I walked in and I had my project bag, this one, with me. And as I walked in the door, they're like, oh, "Where'd you get your bag? We need a bag like that." And I was telling them, "Well, I make them," and they wanted to know if they could buy them, and I said, "Well, I think I'm gonna put them on my Etsy shop. I'm not sure, I've decided," but I was telling them about some of the designs I was making. And one of the ladies that worked there pulled me aside and said, "I need to order, there's a very specific one, I'll tell you as soon as I make it, I'll show it to you next time," that she wanted to order for the owner of the shop there. And they're just so sweet. But they asked me first about the bags, and then they asked me about the projects that I had brought in the time before. They remembered me, they remembered the projects, they were so sweet there. I love that there's just ladies sitting around laying on one of the couches there knitting. I mean, you just go and live there and it is so much fun. I love this community. It's so lovely. So if you're ever in Salt Lake, go to Knittin' Pretty. It's on 90th South, and it is east of Redwood Road, but I can't remember how far east, but I'd say it's probably around 14th West-ish. Anyways, it is such a lovely place. I love going there. So now I have to remember what I was talking about. Oh, bags. So, you know, I was making some bags, but I told them, you know, I wasn't selling them yet until I get my labels in. I've ordered some labels to put in the seams on the side. So once I get those and I've got some of these made, I'm really excited to show you my plans for these, and I'll show those and share them. Hopefully, I hope next time, but I'm not sure. It's getting really busy now. So that's all that we did there. Oh, that's right. I wanted to share with you a little bit about my grandmother. So I really wanted to share each time that we meet a little bit of what I'm calling snippets from the past. Just some of the things that I've learned from my family and some friends, but really my grandparents, my mother, my aunts, that have inspired me and helped me to be who I am right now. But my grandmother Gray, this is my grandmother on my father's side. She's my grandmother, not grandma. On my other side, she's grandma. My grandmother Gray thought that grandma did not sound really elegant, and she is an elegant lady. And she was a perfecting type of personality where she did everything perfectly and beautifully. I mean, her home was lovely and everything she made was beautiful. So she did a lot of things. She sewed a lot and she embroidered a lot, and she made pillowcases. I wonder if I have another set. I'm gonna see. Okay, here's one of the pillowcases that she made for me. This is one I believe that she made and gave to me for my 1-year wedding anniversary. There was a set, but the other one is on someone's pillow. And I didn't use them for so long because I was afraid to ruin it. And I decided, what's the point of having something lovely if you can't use it? It just sits somewhere and it's pointless, it's worthless, just keeping it hidden. So I decided that it's better to use it and enjoy it and use it up than to never enjoy it at all. So, it's so pretty. She's so talented. I mean, I gotta show it up close. Is this the one? Actually, this is not the set that she gave me for my 1-year wedding anniversary. That was a different one. This set I got when she passed away. She had a closet full of linens that she had made that she would save and give to people for different gifts. And this was one set that was not finished. And because I remember this edging, I finished crocheting this edging. I got it from her stash and finished it. And I was really proud of myself because at that point I barely crocheted anything. So anyways, but the stitching is lovely. Anyways, so I had a couple of sets from her, and one of them, it got used up. It was used, and so much that it was done. It was done. It was time to retire, but I did not want to throw it away. I didn't know what to do with it, so I kept one of the pillowcases that was in the best condition out of the two, and I made it into a little doll dress. I love it. So this is the overskirt on one of these dresses for 18-inch dolls that I make. It's got a little underskirt that goes with it. But whenever I do any embroidery, I think about my grandmother, and she was so talented. I try to make my stitches as nice as hers. She's so good at it. I have a couple more of her unfinished projects that I need to finish. I have one, actually, another pillowcase that was embroidered from my great aunt Alta that I finished, and I have it sitting aside for when I need to retire a different pair of pillowcases, a different set. But so I like to make doll dresses, and I thought that this was a nice way to use it without throwing it away. And I really just didn't know what, here, I love it with this little underskirt. I didn't know what to do with a little bit of one of the pillowcases, but this worked out really well. There we go. This is so fun. That's what I want to make the 18-inch doll, Waldorf doll that I'm working on for, is to model the doll clothes. I have a couple more of the doll clothes that I make. Here's one. This one is like a tropical little sundress. And I made a little matching hair clip. And I knitted some I-cord and crocheted some little flowers, and it's a little lei necklace that goes with that one. That one's really fun. And here's another really fun one. Let me take this off. Look at that one. Oh, I've got some of the alpaca. These are little Parisian seals that were so cute. And I've got rickrack trim around the end of the capris. And then I made a little matching beret so that the doll wearing this dress could match the little seals, because he's got a little beret with a red pom-pom. This one's a blue beret with a red bow. So that one was really adorable. Here's one more. I have it on one of my dolls. I'm not sure how you say this one, if it's goats, I don't know, but it's not an American girl doll. It's a different brand. But I loved this dress. I saw a child's version of this dress in a magazine, and I had to make one for a doll. It's so adorable, with the ruching around the waist, and it's a wraparound dress. I like the crisscrossing on the back. It's a wraparound dress, and the bow hides the closure, so it just wraps around like this. So it's really easy to put on. But I love making doll clothes. That's probably my favorite thing to do, is to make doll clothes, and my second favorite is to make dolls. So those are some of the things that I've been working on, and I just love when I can connect with, you know, any of my ancestors as I'm working on projects. That's one of the things I love about creating, and all of these hand arts. Got fibers blowing everywhere. I just feel like it connects me to the past, and I love that feeling. So coming up this week, things that are going on. I know that for pretty much everybody else in the world, school has begun, but in our family we homeschool, and so I get to set that schedule. Well, primarily I get to set that schedule, mostly, but it actually begins for us this Tuesday. We're part of what's called a Commonwealth, that we meet weekly on Tuesdays with another large group of homeschoolers, and we have a lot of different things that we do there. And so my older two children are starting that this week, and I will be going on a field trip with my youngest daughter. We're going to go to, this is the place, Heritage Park. It's homeschool day, so that's perfect time for us. And so with starting homeschool, it gets busy. But this week also is a huge event that we work all year for. And I mentioned it earlier, and that's Mastering Knighthood Summit that my sister is in charge of, my sister and her husband. She's Queen Emily and her husband is King Richard. And so that's this coming Friday and Saturday. And it is a huge, amazing event. It's a simulation, a medieval simulation, and the theme is courage. And so I'm really looking forward to that. So I'm going to just make a short little slideshow of pictures from past Mastering Knighthood Summit events and my event that I do, which is the same thing that I do for girls, called Crowned with Virtue. And I thought I'd just share a short little slideshow here. because of that event and all the work that my sister's putting into it, she hasn't been able to join us, I mentioned earlier, but I'm really excited that after this, I hope that she will be ready for the next podcast. If not, it'll be the one after that, but she will be joining me, and it's just so much fun. She and I are just best friends, and we always talk about how she and I are Corey and Betsy Ten Boom. If you've read The Hiding Place, they are just our heroes, Corey and Betsy. And sometimes I'm Corey, sometimes I'm Betsy, and sometimes Emily is Corey, sometimes she's Betsy. But we always talk about how separately we are fantastic, but together we are amazing. And so I really look forward to having her join in on the podcast. So that'll be nice that we can do that together. And my last thing to announce for this week is I started a Ravelry group for Meanwhile at the Castle. And now I know that there's probably 4 whole people here that may be interested in that, but that's okay. I'm happy with that. But I'd love for you to go there and stop in and say hi, share any thoughts, suggestions on what to name my alpaca llama, what to make with the yarn that I got this week. Any suggestions and thoughts would be appreciated. So come to the Ravelry group, Meanwhile at the Castle, and that would be fun, and hopefully I can get to know some of you. Also, you can find myself and Emily at meanwhileatthecastle.com. That's our website. I also have an Instagram. My Instagram is Indigo Chicken Dolls, and Emily's is Salt City Knits, and my Etsy shop, which is Indigo Chicken. So there you can find my dolls, doll clothes, and when I get them done, when I start selling those, I'll have some of my project bags and maybe stitch markers. I'm trying to decide. So I just really appreciate those of you who have watched, and I really look forward to hearing from you and to visiting with you again. Have a good day.